Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is a very interesting young woman. I have known her for quite some time and I've followed her path. And she excelled in marketing when I knew her, when she worked with us. And now she is with Aligned Automation and global head of marketing. I want to ask her, what does that mean? What does Aligned Automation means? And is it got something to do with AI? That scares the hell out of me. Her name is Gursheen Sandhu and she is our woman in focus today. Gursheen, most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be here and an honor to be on this side.
Now, Gursheen, I said Aligned Automation. Did I say it right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Aligned Automation is a professional technology services company.
Okay.
And AI is really the game we're in, so you've hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I usually ask my son about AI and all that. What does it mean? So one day he explained the difference between, different kinds of AI.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the same question. There are many different kinds of AI. Why are people so scared?
I think there's a lot of, misinformation in the media about, what that means for jobs, for people graduating out of university. What are they going to be doing for a living? So
Right.
I think the unknown is always a scary place.
Right.
But with AI, there's a lot of great innovations that are coming out of there. I'm a little biased.
No, but you've always been, you've always sort of leaned towards that, haven't you?
Yeah, tech has always been an interesting place. I think my upbringing, my brother's a computer engineer. So at a really young age, I got exposed to sort of computers, internet. I still remember the dial-up sound that would happen. Right? I'm old enough to know what that is. But tech has always sort of been in the background.
Right.
And I think, more recently in the last 10, 15 years, I've found a career in it. Even at the studio, we would be working on sort of, websites, blogs.
Yes.
There was always an interest in, talking to Sudhir as well about
That's
that
right.
kind of stuff. So it's always been in the background, and then I brought it into the foreground a little later in my career.
So let's go back. You mentioned your brother and computer engineer.
Yeah.
I remember my younger brother was a computer programmer.
Yeah.
And so I know those old languages because I used to write his resume papers or cover
okay.
letters,
Yeah.
RPG, COBOL, Fortran.
Yeah.
Am I on the right path?
Yeah, and C++ is what
C++,
I remember.
I see.
Yeah,
Basic.
yeah. Yes. So my siblings had like a big influence. My sister also in sciences. So both of them were in STEM, right?
Right.
And I grew up with quite intelligent yet nerdy siblings. And so I kind of followed in their footsteps, but then went the business direction.
Now, being born and brought up here in British Columbia.
Yes.
Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Surrey, and
Okay.
I'm a proud Surreyite. I wear that anywhere
Brenda
I go.
Rock
My
will be very
travels.
happy to know that.
Yeah, we've just moved to Delta, but
Yes.
Surrey has always been my home.
And let's talk about family. Mom and dad must have come here when they were pretty young.
Yeah, so Dad immigrated in the late 60s.
Okay.
And then Mom followed shortly after in the early 70s. And so, they were a part of that community. I had relatives that used to be in Paldi,
Right.
like that sort of generation.
Wow.
And so, we grew up on the Pacific West Coast
Yes.
and with sort of the milling background.
Right.
Dad used to work for a mill. And Mom used to work in customer service, and they worked hard and built us, I would say, a wonderful life.
So how many brothers and sisters are you?
So I have one older sister who's 13 years older than me, and
Right.
then my brother who's 10 years older than me. So I'm the baby.
You're
Maybe the mistake. I don't know.
No, not a mistake. I think I won't use the word my mom used to use for my youngest siblings. But having two older siblings is always comforting to a certain extent, and maybe you don't have to work as hard as they did to get all the stuff. So were you lucky enough to get whatever you wanted as a child?
It's interesting. So yes, there was enough of an age gap that it was almost like being an only kid at sometimes, right?
Yes.
You know, my sister was very academically gifted, and so she went to university and went on, did her PhD,
Yeah.
and sort of left the home early to go to university. And then my brother, same thing. And so I spent a lot of time with mom and dad. I did get a lot of what I wanted. They were easier on me.
Right.
But then I essentially had four parents, right?
Yes.
That kind of dictated and really watched out on what I was doing.
And so did they in any way sort of get you to look at the current position that you have, or get into marketing, or get into AI, get into tech industry?
So it was like a combination.
Yeah.
I was not as mathematically gifted as my brother and sister, and I just, STEM wasn't for me. But I was thinking I'm going to go into science, or I'm going to go into, you know, something math related, and then that wasn't it. It was actually, I think, you know, I'll credit my mom now.
Yes.
But she, you know, I just don't tell her to her face. But she's always been entrepreneurial, and she's always been a little more enterprising. And so I think
Right.
somewhere in there that may have influenced my choices. So I went the business route as opposed to science or engineering or something like that. Yeah.
And so making money comes easy to you?
I mean, I think anybody that goes the business route likes money a little more than the average person. So yeah, money does excite me. I
Yes.
think it's more of a bit of a game, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, how do you set a pillar, you hit that goalpost, and then you just move it farther, and you see how far you can get. So that's sort of how I am.
That's a beautiful answer, because it's going to lead into the next question. But I'm going to take a short commercial break and come back.
Okay, sounds good.
Gursheen, and we call her Sheena with love, is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today is Gursheen Sandhu, Sheena. So Sheena, we were talking about, you know, how you got into marketing. So which was the first company, first of all, that you joined?
Well, apart from my time at the time RJ 1200, then I went on and did my MBA, and
Yes.
And I worked for a company that was one of the largest manufacturers for Home Depot Canada, and then eventually USA.
Wow.
Or not the largest in the USA, but expanded.
Yes.
And then I realized that I had this yearning to get into tech. So tech has always been something in the background that I'd always paid attention to, read up on,
Yes.
interested in trends. And so then I took that opportunity, and, you know, obviously with the council, my brother and sister, they were like, hey, if this is something you want to pursue, do
Right.
it now at that stage of your career. And so
Right.
then I worked for a company called OneBridge Solutions. That's now been bought out a few times over, but it was a machine learning and data science company that basically predicted pipeline failures. So oil and gas were our clients. And so I was employee number 9, I want to say, somewhere in there.
Right.
It was a startup. And then, and you know, I think that's where I realized not only did I like tech, but I liked a certain size of company where it's on a growth trajectory. And so, you know, our clients there were ExxonMobil, Chevron, those types of clients.
Right.
And, you know, I left when we had a healthy roster of oil and gas clients, and then went to another tech company
Right.
based out of Vancouver called Connexia. And there I was director of demand generation. And so there we did have targets. So we all had to carry a bag. And so quarterly you would have to hit lead targets that would generate a certain number of revenue for the company.
So how does that work? I mean, is it a job with a lot of pressure?
That job was, yeah. You know, funny enough, I found myself with a group of men, right? And, you know, I was on a sales call, and I realized, and I looked, and I'm like, not only am I a person of color on this call, but I am the only female in a
Right.
group of 30, right? And so those were interesting moments where, yeah, it was a high pressure call,
Right.
and everybody's trying to prove that they hit their targets. And I think that's what really matured me as a marketer. I think marketing sometimes gets sort of this false reputation where it's, oh, have a good website, oh,
Yeah.
get traffic, get a lot of likes. There's a really real side to marketing, which is get a number of leads that convert into revenue and sales.
Right.
So quality leads, you know, MQLs, SQLs, all that stuff.
Something called ROEs.
Yeah, ROIs.
Yeah,
and
ROIs, I
yeah,
see.
return on marketing investment, ROMI. So all of those calculations you start having to pay attention to, because the company's looking at dollars you're spending versus dollars you're bringing into the company.
Wow. So I was going to ask you to decipher marketing for me. You did that without me asking you. So a company, you know, like our company, for example, you know, when you came in and started working with us,
Yeah.
it was the visibility that was very important for us.
Yeah.
If we were visible, people knew about us, and you made that possible. You were our secretive Sheena.
I'm very humbled. I was a very small part of making that visible. I think Sushmaji, your brand, you know, is something that is a legacy brand in Vancouver. So, but yeah, no, it was a neat experience that
Yeah.
you were establishing the new Apna thing at the time,
Yes,
which it
that's
very
right.
much was.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the visibility, and also just, you know, trying to get people into the mindset of this new age of music, the new age of South Asian radio. So yeah, no, it was neat being a part of it. I mean, I did radio sales at that time a few
That's
times,
right.
which was wild, but it actually set me up for success in my career.
Isn't
now.
that just
Yeah.
beautiful?
Yeah.
But you also met with people who indirectly probably influenced you quite a bit, and that was Diana,
Yeah.
you know, who was in marketing and advertising.
Yeah, I mean, Diana Lee was a mentor of mine as well, and sort of, you know, I think with her integrity and
Yes.
sort of, you know, quick wit and doing it now,
Yes.
right, as opposed to doing it later.
Yeah.
Are some of the key things that I've learned.
But you know, those are some of the things that, you know, you wherever you're working, there is a molding happening to you.
Yeah,
You as a person is being molded,
absolutely.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So you can see all those little molds in your life that is happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I look back, and every role and every sort of, you know, position I've held has led me to this point. And now I find myself at a company where, you know, it is South Asian, there's a big South Asian component. We have a large office in Pune.
Right.
That's our largest operations, Dallas-based. And now we've expanded in Dubai. And the funniest thing is I'm in Dubai and I'm like, oh, like this is a bit of deja vu, because there's, you know, working initially at a South Asian radio station,
Right.
now working in tech, it's kind of come full circle for me.
Isn't that beautiful, though?
Yeah, and the wildest thing in Dubai, I gotta say, is, you know, I'm there on business sometimes, and everybody can speak. A lot of the workers there and drivers can speak Punjabi because they're from the Pakistan side of Punjab.
Oh, that's right.
And never in my wildest dreams did I think my Punjabi would come in handy halfway across the world in a cab. So there you go. Yeah.
I want to talk about your new position and your new work. It is quite interesting. I mean, your title says Global Head of Marketing, and it says, you know, your company's name. So I want to find out a little bit more about that. Yeah. Gursheen is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We are entering into a beautiful part of our life, which is happening right now. So don't go away. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Gursheen Sandhu is our woman in focus today. So Gursheen, the current job that you have makes you travel everywhere. How is traveling for you? Do you like travel? Do you travel cattle class? Do you travel business class? Do you travel first class?
I haven't gotten to the first class
Yet.
or business class. I mean, I have had the opportunity in my previous work experiences to travel in those classes,
Yes.
but currently I'm working my way up. Let's just say that. I've actually had to travel throughout my career,
Yes.
oddly enough.
Yeah.
Found myself in Houston a lot
Yes.
for many years, and now I'm finding myself going to India. So Mumbai and Pune. I mean, the last time I had went to India before this job was when I was in grade 10.
Really?
And I only went to Punjab and like Delhi. So traveling alone to Mumbai, you can imagine my parents were very nervous,
Yes.
but had traveled there. And then we've since opened up operations in Dubai.
Yeah.
And so the company has, requested that I be in Dubai. So I've been there, I think, in the last 4 months, I think 3 times, and I'm going to head
Wow.
back one more time
Right.
before the end of the year.
So when you go there, what sort of targets do you make for yourself, or are the targets given to you to?
Yeah, actually, a very fascinating initiative we've got going on. We're actually sponsoring India's first Ferrari racer internationally. She's female.
Okay.
Sorry, let me correct myself. It's India's first female Ferrari racer,
Okay.
who's actually racing internationally, and she's racing in the Middle East.
Wow.
Her name's Diana Pandole, and she actually went viral in India in terms of this, and that was part of the campaign I was involved in.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we did our launch in October,
Uh-huh.
and she was critical to our launch, and
Right.
sort of that went viral in the Middle East and then took off in India. And in India, with the numbers, things take off very quickly.
Yes.
And so I have the pleasure of sort of accompanying her on her journey racing throughout the Middle East. So I'm actually going to go back in December and accompany her in Bahrain, and
Right.
that's her next race. And so that's one of the reasons that's got me going into Dubai. The other
Right.
one is establishing our operations and expanding our marketing visibility and our footprint in that region.
So Ferrari is the latest addition.
Yeah.
So what are the other things that the company is going to be looking at and marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we're in the game of AI, and
Yeah.
anybody that knows with Dubai, it's starting to become the epicenter of sort of, innovation,
Yes.
finance, tech. It's becoming a global hub. And so one of the areas that we're looking at is expanding in the energy space. So I was
Okay.
just at the EDIPEC conference, which is the world's largest oil and gas conference. I think there was 230,000 people there. It was like,
Wow.
yeah, you feel like a needle in the haystack. So that's one area.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's one of the areas that you were originally involved in. So,
Yeah.
so don't you think it's sort of
It's all, I mean, yeah.
connected, eh?
It is very connected. It's wild, yeah. I feel very fortunate. Oil and gas and energy, I know it has a bad rep, but it is a very comforting industry for me,
Right.
because I understand it.
Yes.
Other verticals we're going after is healthcare.
Right.
Healthcare is huge, and with Dubai and all these Middle East GCC region is what they call it. They all
Yeah.
have Vision 30 or Vision 2030, Vision
Yeah.
2031. It's all around making the Middle East as a AI green energy hub, an innovation hub.
So let me ask you this question, which is not related to your job, but as a person who has traveled extensively in United States and also going now to Dubai, when you were a child going to India and then you went again to Pune and to Mumbai, what was it that was different for you?
I think what was different is sort of seeing India through my own lens.
Right.
So I think when I was in grade 10, it was, seeing Punjab, which is very dear to me, but
Yes.
seeing it through my grandmother's lens and my mother's
Right.
lens.
Yes.
Going to the different gurdwaras and temples, which is beautiful.
Yes.
But a different experience. I think going this time, going for work, appreciating the advancements that India's made. I mean, Mumbai in itself is just, it's overwhelming, but it's amazing at the same time. And then, seeing India as sort of now kind of a leader in the STEM space, in engineering and in tech. So I think going this time, I saw India in a different light than when I did then. Then it was about family and experience and my upbringing, my roots. This time it's more about seeing it as a global player,
Right.
in the tech space and that sort of thing.
Isn't that interesting? I was talking to a young woman last week, and we were talking about how the Indian finance industry just leapt from just writing everything by hand in ledgers to digital, where nobody has credit cards even. They have their phones and they do every business with that.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind.
I have a funny story.
Yes.
Last year, the first time I'd gone to our corporate office, there I brought a wad of cash with me because Mom and Dad were like, "We'll bring cash with you. You need it." And I get there, and they're like, "Well, what are we going to do with this?" Right?
Yeah.
Every time we go to restaurants, they're like, "Don't worry about it. I'll put it on my..." Right? And they're paying by their mobile. And I'm sitting there with stacks. And my colleagues are just laughing at me going, you know, and I'm trying to buy food at the cafeteria. And she's like, "What am I going to do with that?" So, yeah, you hit the nail on the head where I felt like, you know, crazy for bringing cash with me. Yeah, it's all digital now.
Everything is digital.
Yeah.
And people have not one phone, but maybe three.
Yeah.
3 different phones for 3 different things that they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's...
So that country is also advancing technically very fast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and what's amazing is the population. So you have, it's not even like at certain class levels, right? You've got people that are not as well off, still using their mobile phones to pay for things, and you've got like the upper middle class doing the same. So they've managed to just do it throughout.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, Sheena, what are you going to be doing in the next 1 year?
Ooh,
I
that's
ask
a tough
people
question.
5 years, but I'm going to ask you 1 year.
I mean, the way AI is moving, I don't know what I'm going to do in 6 months. I think, you know, I'm going to enjoy this trajectory that I'm on and enjoy sort of the company and the space that we're working on and you know, what we're trying to do in the Middle East, and hopefully I'm a part of that success. In a year's time, you know, that's a tough question. I've never lived with like this plan, but I do hope that I'm enterprising in some way, whether it's with the company I'm working with, but I'm doing something in the space of AI,
Right.
even as side projects go. But you know, really tapping into that world, because I think the next year in the AI space is really going to dictate what the future looks like for us.
Thank you for being our Woman in Focus today.
Thank you so much, Sushma ji. It's a pleasure.
Gursheen has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We could talk for hours, but, you know, time, done.